Who is responsible for Taiwan's defense?
Part 122.
Cuba. Incorrect viewpoints and correct viewpoints.
Introduction. Cuba is an island country, comprising the island of Cuba, along with various archipelagos, and nearly 4,200 nearby islands and cays. Cuba is situated near the location where the Northern Caribbean Sea, Gulf of Mexico, and Atlantic Ocean meet. Cuba is east of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, south of both Florida and the Bahamas, and west of Hispaniola, Haiti and the Dominican Republic. It is north of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands.
In regard to the history of Cuba from 1898 to 1902, the following textual descriptions have been collected from various sources. However, these descriptions contain some incorrect viewpoints. A statement of the correct perspective is then offered for each
Session.
The correct perspective.
In December of 1898, by the terms of the Treaty of Paris, Spain relinquished all claim of sovereignty over and title to Cuba. Although no receiving country was specified, the United States military government, USMG, served as the legal occupier, aka principal occupying power. The U.S. Senate ratified this treaty in February 1899, and it came into force on April 11. On May 20, 1902, USMG was terminated and the United States granted Cuba its independence.
Flag.
The correct perspective.
During the period of United States occupation, both belligerent occupation and friendly occupation, the U.S. flag flew over Cuba. On May 20, 1902, the U.S. flag was lowered, and the flag of the Republic of Cuba was raised.
Allegiance.
The correct perspective.
The concept of allegiance shifted for the Cuban people, as a result of the Spanish-American War and Cuba's subsequent independence. Prior to 1898, Cuba was a territory of Spain, and the Cuban people owed permanent allegiance to the Spanish crown. This changed with the war and Spain's surrender of the island. The United States liberated Cuba from Spanish sovereignty, and took control of Cuban territory as the occupying power. Under international laws governing military occupation, the doctrine of temporary allegiance applied. This customary legal principle holds that inhabitants of an occupied territory owe allegiance, albeit temporarily, to the occupying power. Thus from 1898 to 1902, the Cuban people were bound to provide allegiance and obedience to the United States. However, military occupation and temporary allegiance ended with Cuba gaining independence on May 20, 1902.
Military government.
The correct perspective.
During the 1898 to 1902 military occupation, the United States military government, USMG, functioned as the true legal government of Cuba. However, the U.S. military authorities actively coordinated with the local Cuban people to establish a local civil government for Cuba.
Cede.
1. To renounce possession of, especially by treaty. 2. To transfer control of or sovereignty over specific property or territory, especially by treaty. 3. To relinquish or give up something such as land, rights, or power. 4. Noun, cession.